Everyone in the millionaire's mansion believed silence meant weakness, until one quiet waitress changed the entire room with nothing but her calm eyes. What happened next made even the most powerful woman in the city step back and rethink everything. Subscribe to Black Inside 2.0 for more life-changing emotional stories. The Beaumont estate was the kind of place people whispered about. A long driveway lined with trimmed hedges, a fountain that glittered like crystal, and windows so tall they made the house look like a palace from a classic film. Everyone in the city knew the same truth. Where Victor Beaumont brought wealth, his wife, Celeste Beaumont, brought fear. Celeste was known for her elegance, always dressed in bright colors, always poised, but behind the perfect smile was a sharpness that made everyone around her choose their words carefully. Or avoid speaking at all. Tonight was supposed to be a simple dinner party, just a handful of close business associates and a small staff to serve them. But tonight would become a story told for years. And it would all begin with the quiet arrival of a young waitress named Amara. Amara was new. She stepped into the dining hall wearing a simple red uniform, her hair neatly braided, her posture calm. She had only been in the city for a few months, working different jobs to support her mother back home. Amara wasn't loud, she wasn't bold, but she had a quiet steadiness that made people look twice. She believed in respect, she believed in staying polite, and she believed in choosing peace over conflict. Unfortunately, she didn't yet know how the Beaumonts operated. The staff whispered as she walked past. "Stay careful around the lady of the house," one warned softly. "She doesn't like mistakes," another added. Amara simply nodded, offering them a small, reassuring smile. "I'll do my best," she said. She didn't know that her best would be tested sooner than anyone imagined. Golden chandeliers cast warm light over the long dining table. Guests in tailored suits and shimmering dresses gathered around, laughing softly, speaking about business deals and travel plans. Victor Beaumont sat calmly at the end of the table, a quiet man, thoughtful, almost gentle in his manner. But Celeste was the opposite. She floated into the room in a bright fuchsia dress, a picture of control. She never sat down without making sure every eye was on her. When she noticed Amara, she narrowed her eyes, just slightly. "Who is she?" Celeste asked her assistant. "The new waitress," the assistant whispered. Celeste didn't look pleased, not angry, just observant, and a little too interested. Amara, unaware of the silent evaluation, carried trays with soft steps, setting down glasses and plates with flawless precision. One guest whispered, "She's good." Another responded, "She's new. Give it a few minutes." Celeste always finds something, but for now, the dinner continued smoothly. Celeste lifted her spoon, tasted the soup, and paused. Her expression froze. Guests went silent. Victor looked up. Everyone at that table knew the pattern. Celeste paused, right pointing arrow. Celeste frowned, right pointing arrow. Someone was about to be scolded. And so it began. "Excuse me," she called sharply. "Waitress." Amara stepped forward politely. "Yes, ma'am." Celeste held up the spoon toward her face. "This soup," she said with a cool tone, "is not warm enough." Amara checked the steam gently. "It feels warm to me, ma'am. I can bring a fresh bowl if." Celeste stood up, leaning close, her voice hushed yet sharp. "I didn't ask for your opinion. I asked why you thought this was acceptable." Her words weren't loud, but the room felt smaller. Every staff member watching from the corner froze. Victor shifted uncomfortably but didn't interfere. He rarely did. But Amara didn't flinch. She didn't argue. She didn't defend herself. She didn't lower her eyes. She simply held her calm. And then, she did something no one expected. She gently held the spoon, steadied it, and simply breathed. Not a word, not a single reaction of fear. Just calm, complete calm. The entire room inhaled. Guests whispered, "What is she doing? Is she challenging Celeste?" But no, Amara wasn't challenging anyone. She was simply choosing dignity. A dignity so quiet, so steady, it moved through the room like warm air. Celeste blinked, caught off guard. She was used to people shrinking back. But Amara's silence wasn't disrespect. It was understanding. It said everything without words. "I hear you, I respect you, but I will not be shaken. Not for something that wasn't my fault. Not tonight." Celeste's shoulders fell just a little. Her expression softened, just barely. And for a moment, she didn't look powerful. She looked human. Victor watched Amara silently. He had witnessed thousands of people speak loudly in his home. Command, complain, criticize. But he had never seen someone quiet the room by doing nothing at all. Even Celeste seemed unsure. Finally, Amara whispered, "I will bring you a warmer bowl, ma'am. And thank you for letting me know." There was no sarcasm, no fear, just genuine humility, the kind that comes from real inner strength. Celeste sat back down slowly. Her guests exchanged stunned glances. Victor cleared his throat lightly, sensing the tension settle. "Why don't we all take a breath and enjoy the evening?" he said with a gentle smile. The atmosphere eased, but something had changed. The millionaire's wife, known for her firmness, had been matched not by boldness, not by anger, but by grace. Later in the evening, after the guests finished dessert, Celeste asked her assistant to send Amara to the sitting room. Everyone held their breath. Is she in trouble? Is she being dismissed? No one speaks to the lady with that kind of calm. Amara walked softly into the room. Celeste stood near the window, looking out at the lights in the garden. For a long moment, she didn't speak. Amara waited patiently, and then, Celeste turned, her voice quieter than anyone had ever heard. That moment at the dinner table, she said softly, "You didn't react, you didn't shrink. Why?" Amara took a slow breath. "Because your feelings matter," she said gently. "And if something wasn't right, it's my role to fix it. Not to defend myself, just to help make the evening better." Celeste looked at her, the tension in her face slowly unwinding. "No one speaks to me like that," she said. "No one ever stays calm." Amara answered, "Sometimes calm is the only thing we have. And it's enough." Celeste sank into a chair, eyes softer than before. She wasn't crying, but she was closer to tears than anyone had ever seen. "Do you know," Celeste whispered, "how tiring it is to always be the one everyone fears?" Amara lowered her gaze respectfully. "I imagine it must be lonely," she said. Celeste swallowed. "It is." And for the first time in years, she wasn't the powerful woman in the room. She was simply a person, seen, heard, understood, by someone she had barely known for 1 hour. The next morning, the staff gathered nervously. No one knew what would happen. Then Celeste walked into the kitchen. Everyone fell silent. Amara stood among the others, hands folded politely. Celeste approached her, and in a gentle voice none of them recognized, she said, "Thank you for your professionalism last night. And thank you for reminding me that calm is stronger than fear." The staff stared, speechless. Victor, who had entered behind her, smiled. Quietly, Amara bowed her head. "It was my honor, ma'am." Celeste turned to the staff. "Let today be a day without fear," she said warmly. "Let's all treat each other with patience." The room lit up with quiet relief. And for the first time in a long time, the Beaumont estate felt peaceful. Word of the moment spread. People talked about it in cafes, offices, and even among high society circles. Not because of drama, but because a single moment of stillness changed a woman known for her intensity. And that change had begun with a simple truth. Strength doesn't always speak. Sometimes it simply stands. Amara continued working at the estate, becoming one of the most respected members of the staff. Guests asked for her by name. Celeste, softened by the quiet moment of humility, became someone easier to approach. More patient, more human, and Victor often said with a smile, "That young woman didn't change the house by raising her voice. She changed it by holding her peace." Years later, people still remember that dinner, the night when the millionaire's wife was humbled not by confrontation but by compassion. Amara would eventually move forward in her career, earning leadership roles in hospitality. And Celeste would always say, "She taught me more in 5 minutes of silence than anyone else did in 10 years. And that was how a quiet waitress made the most powerful woman in the mansion rethink what real strength looks like. Not through fear, not through argument, but through grace, respect, and unshakable calm. The kind of strength that never needs to raise its voice.